The people fear the fish stock will be depleted, depriving them of the age-old fishing profession if government goes ahead with its exploration plans. Let's hear some of these protesters.
Both TV, media, a lot of experiences. Some of us have been to Niger Delta before, and but it was devastating. We don't want that sort of thing to come here. These are people who are around here, have never traveled, so we don't know. We don't want it. The youth, we are thinking of the youth, the future of the youth. Oil is a diminishing factor. It will get finished after some years. But after they have done the havoc, the land is destroyed, the lagoon is destroyed. It takes years before things come back again. That will be a lot of work. And we are farmers, we are fishermen. The moment they start drilling, there will be restrictions. They cannot go to fishing. The land is polluted. The water, the underground water which we use very much for our crops will also be polluted. So we realize that they are just deceiving us. What the benefit can this bring to the youth? They are unemployed youth. We don't have any technical knowledge about oil. They don't have. So please, they can improve on their livelihood by doing more in the lagoon. All that we need is the dredging of the lagoon, the introduction of shrimp larvae and tilapia larvae, which are bound.
So let's get on to the phone lines now and speak with Joy News' Ivy Setoji, who has been following the demonstrators. Ivy, what exactly have the demonstrators been telling you beyond what we just heard?
Well, these demonstrators, that's some residents of Anglong and the Association of Vegetable Farmers and Marketers, are saying that they don't want the oil exploration, whether onshore or offshore, in the Keta Basin, with the mind that their lands, the sea, and the rivers will be polluted. According to them, the Anglong, that's between Keta and Anglong, they don't have enough land. So they are between the sea and the lagoon, or the river, and so they don't have enough land to allow that to happen. They are fishermen and then farmers, and so they would like to continue with that. Exploring oil or the oil exploration would mean that their livelihood now is from the
Hello, Ivy. Right, we'll go back to Ivy Setoji for the rest of that report, but let's go into the other line and speak with the MCE Seth Yomeu, who received a petition this morning from the protesters. Good afternoon, Mr. Yomeu, and thanks for your time. What else is contained in the petition presented to you this morning, and how do you respond to it?
Thank you very much. I want to take this opportunity to say good afternoon to your cherished listeners. This morning, Farmers Association in Anglong embarked on a procession to present a petition to the president. So I am the representative there, so I represent the president there and receive the petition. All is about the drilling of oil in Keta municipality. You know that our people are farmers and fishermen. So they are saying that the land that they are coming to do onshore oil drilling in our area. So they are saying that if they are coming to do that, it will affect their farmlands and then their lagoons. So because of that, they are protesting to send their grievances to the presidency.
Right. Beyond sending the grievances to the president, what appropriate response would you give these people?
Well, what happened is that they have presented a petition. What I need to do is to forward to the presidency for attention. So I have assured them that we are going to look at it, and then at the end, I know we are listening government, the authorities will come on and come out with whatever they want to do for the area.
Right. Would you say that the concerns raised by the people are founded, they have basis?
Please come again.
I'm asking, would you say that the concerns raised by these people whom you live with in your municipality are founded?
Oh, actually, I can also say that maybe they have some issue. That's why they are saying. Because as we are here now, as the MP, I don't have any contact on my table that they are coming to do onshore production in my area. But like you know, what happened at the land that they also have heard it long before we came to government. So because of that, they are presenting it to me to be presented to the president. So I hope that whatever they are saying, we are in a democratic country. Everybody have right to go to demonstration. Whatever they are saying, the government will look at it and come up with its results.
Thank you very much, Seth Yomewu, for joining us. Let's move on now. And the Ghana Health Service says it has received a health alert from DR Congo on an Ebola outbreak. It is therefore urging the public to be cautious of their health and revive all known preventive measures to prevent any possible outbreak in Ghana. Nigeria has already stepped up screening processes as its various national airports are ensuring that no outbreak is recorded there. It would be recalled that about 2 years ago, when there was an outbreak in Sierra Leone and other countries, Ghana introduced some national emergency preventive measures as a stopgap to record any case in the country. What are the statuses of those emergency measures and what needs to be done now? I'm joined on the phone by the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Anthony Ntiasare, for more. Good afternoon, Doc. Thanks for joining us. Right, so we rather have Dr. Bedu Sarkodie, also of the Ghana Health Service, with us on the line. Thanks for joining us, Doctor. What exactly has the DR Congo been telling the service and the alerts you received? Doctor, can you hear me? Right, Dr. Bedu Sarkodie, we want to find out what exactly the DR Congo has told Ghana in that health alert we received. Right, so we are trying to get Dr. Bedu Sarkodie on the line, and he will be telling us the details of that health alert that we have received from the DR Congo. Well, Dr. Bedu Sarkodie is on the line now. Doc, what are the details of that health alert you received from DR Congo? Right, we'll try and re-establish contact with Dr. Bedu Sarkodie for us to get the details of that outbreak of Ebola in the DR Congo. Just to keep us updated, the Ghana Health Service has informed us that they themselves have been informed by the Congolese authorities, and speaking of authorities in DR Congo, that there has been an Ebola outbreak in that country already. We know Nigeria has set up many preventive measures, particularly in the airport. We reported on this platform just a couple of days back that the Nigeria Immigration Service has stepped up efforts to carry out checks at their airports in order to prevent Ebola from spreading into that country. You would recall that 2 years ago, an Ebola outbreak was recorded in West Africa, hitting about 4 countries. About 11,000 cases were reported at the time, and mostly you found it spreading from country to country as a result of migration and activities like that. So we'll go back on the line and we'll speak with Dr. Bedu Sarkodie on these issues so we know how ready we are to deal with a possible outbreak of Ebola. Thanks a lot, Doctor, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, too. The line is faint. So let's try to a bit louder. But then at least I could hear you. Thank you. So.
Great, great. Now, what exactly has the DR Congo been telling the service in that alert you received?
I didn't get a question. Why is it that?
I am asking what the DR Congo has told the Ghana Health Service in that alert it's reported that you have received.
Yes, indeed. We're working closely through the international health regulation, and according to the WHO, the DR Congo has confirmed cases of Ebola, and we think that looking at the travel situation in the sub-region and then the entire group, whilst we have infection with potential pandemic potential, it's important that we start enhancing our preparedness to prevent and protect against its introduction. Should it happen, you take it early and then deal with it. That's the relevance for the alert. And the legacy of Ebola 2014-15, we put in some mechanisms to prepare our facilities, to create public awareness, to make sure the staff are safe, and the entire the national community is safe. Some of these things we need to reactivate and make sure that as we expect them, they function, and then the time that you need them, they'll be available for you. And that was the relevance for the alert which we sent to the regions and the various health facilities, teaching hospitals, and so that the various preparedness at the facilities, getting holding places readily available, so that should there be any suspected case, it can be handled without affecting other cases. And then making sure that the staff would also be sensitized to use case definitions to be looking for possible cases, and then also getting the various laboratories ready for confirmation should there be any suspected case, what to do. These are the things that we need to put in place, and what we have enhanced them to make sure that the country is prepared for any eventuality.
So what do we have now, and how soon are we going to get the full gamut of the systems we need to combat this disease?
The legacy of Ebola, the various preparedness that we made, what we have now with regards to one, taking the cases, using case definition. The case definition is the same. The staff have them. Some of them, we have to, new staff have come in, and there have been some sense of level of attrition. So we will need to enhance sensitizing more staff. Staff education is very important. The laboratory that says about the test is still available. What we need to do, we have some kits available, but we need more so that as the alert has come, the index of suspicion will be heightened and more samples will be sent there. So you should be getting ready for more tests to be done for acute viral hemorrhagic fevers, and then public education, which is part that we started, need to be done. I think once you sent this, the time of last year when you confirmed the case, some education was going on. We will need to enhance this. The presentations are quite similar, and as much as possible, the public education also has to be intensified. This has to be done at all levels using big media houses, print or other electronic media, and then add one-on-one education, mass gatherings, people talking to others. The public education is very key. There are all the hospitals at the time of Ebola. There was directive that all health facilities should have isolation areas to handle suspected cases as the tests are being done for final confirmation. That if it comes positive, then it will be sent to treatment centers as we have in Tema.
Okay. Right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Medusa Kodia, for providing that information on the Ebola outbreak, a possible Ebola outbreak. Now, Joy News is speaking reports of hikes in the prices of maize on the market. In Tamale, for example, maize was at last week was selling between 140 Ghana cedis and 160 Ghana cedis from a previous price of 100 Ghana cedis in just March this year. Residents of Tamale are particularly worried that with the Ramadan festivities approaching, where most families are dependent on it for their Hausa porridge and teasets, etc., the situation could get worse. Our Northern Regional correspondent Hashmin has been visiting some markets in Tamale. Now, Hashmin Mohammed has joined us on the line to tell us more. So, Hashmin, how serious is the problem?
Well, I've been interacting with some maize farmers in Tamale, specifically at the Abu market. And what this tells me is that the demand is higher than the supply. And for some time now, the prices have not been stable. It is possible you buy a maize early this morning at 130 or 150, and then tomorrow you can buy it as high as 160 or 170 because the demand keeps on coming, and the maize traders find it extremely difficult getting the products to bring it to the market to sell.
Right.
And quite apart from that, there are a lot of people coming from down south to demand for quantities of bags of maize from them, and because of that, that has necessitated the hike in the prices.
Ashmin, you mentioned that the suppliers say it's becoming more difficult to get maize from the farms into the market. Do we know why this is so?
Well, speaking to some of the traders, according to them, their interaction with the farmers, the farmers tells them that because of the fear of the fall army worm, last year they didn't go into huge productions in maize farming because of the fear of the army worm. A lot of them went into rice farming, and that has accounted for the low supplies in the market.
Right. Thank you very much, Hasmin Mohammed, for joining us. Now, residents of Tamale are not the only ones affected by this. Poultry farmers who depend on maize to feed their livestock are now threatening to demonstrate because a crippling shortage has now increased their cost of production. The Brong-Ahafo region is one of the country's biggest poultry producing regions, from where our correspondent Precious Semevo will be joining us shortly to bring us an update on what exactly the poultry farmers there have been telling us. We'll bring you details of that story shortly. But now, let's take these important messages. Thanks for staying with us. This is Joy News Today, and I am Daniel Dazi. Let's go back to the Brong-Ahafo region, where we understand that poultry farmers who depend on maize to feed their livestock are threatening to demonstrate because they are not getting enough maize to feed their chickens and their hens, basically. So Precious Semevo is on the line to give us the details of this. Precious, how have these poultry farmers been engaging you? What have they been telling you?
Well, Daniel, the major concern is the shortage of maize in the system, which according to them is affecting the smooth running of their business, aside the huge cost that they are already incurring. Now, I spoke to the chairman of the Poultry Farmers Association of Brong-Ahafo, Mr. David Fabina Ampof, and he is saying that if government does not intervene immediately, they will be compelled to lay off some of their workers. He is even saying that he alone has employed close to 100 people, and he uses 110 bags on daily basis of maize. So you can just imagine the effect that the shortage is having on his business. Now, he is saying that previously they used to buy 5 kilos of maize at a cost of between 45 and 50 Ghana cedis. But as we speak, it is selling between 75 and 80 Ghana cedis, and that even depends on the supplier. Now, I try to inquire from them if they have an idea of what may be causing this shortage of maize in the system. Now, they are alleging that the government buffer stock warehouse seems to have bought, the maize out of the market, and they are using it for the free SHS program, and they believe that that is a major issue. And the government insists that they have enough stock for the poultry farms, and they are appealing to government to bring it out for them to be able to continue running their business here in the Donga. And it's a matter that they are appealing to government to give it the serious attention, needed attention, to restore any further problems here in the poultry business, the Donga Hampuru.
Thank you, Precious, for that report. As the watching Joy News today, we'll be back after these important messages. Thanks for staying with us. Now, encroachment in concessions belonging to quarry sites in parts of the country is becoming a big source of worry to both the mine operators and the Minerals Commission. Last Friday, a blast at ESM quarry at Budumburam left 2 persons injured. There are also cases of homes cracking and collapsing on occupants due to their closeness to the quarry sites. To find a lasting solution to the problem, a technical subcommittee of the Minerals Commission toured some quarry sites in Ablekuma and Budumburam. Jacqueline Johnson-Quay was on that tour and filed this report.
Ablekuma property owners have put up their structures very close to rocks which are being mined. Others are located right at the edge of already mined pits. All of these structures will go down anytime the quarry operators undertake any blast. The mine companies say the situation is negatively affecting their productions due to the dangers these encroachers will be exposed to if they go ahead with their regular operations. The board chairman of the Minerals Commission, Samson K. Boafo, was astonished at how the encroachers have ignored the risk associated with their settlements in these quarrying sites.
This is water and sewage, where the whole Ghana is a wager. Our water supply come and see. So the next 5 years you get sick and you say, which? It's yourself. Because you sit in this when they're blasting, even the dust that comes, the dust that comes will affect your health and cancer will come out of it. Why?
He noted measures being taken by the Commission to deal with the situation, including collaborating with other stakeholders to find a permanent solution.
So you need to call those other agencies, the stakeholders that they have. You've seen the electricity. How can you supply electricity to a dangerous zone? That's the first point. You have the MCs all over this place. Why should they give them permit? If they don't have permit, what are they supposed to do? Is it not the law allows them? Why? We have other agencies. They must be vitamin me or they should. The law allows that these things should be done. And we will ask those who are entitled to do it.
The managing director of Regimanuel Concrete Products Quarry, Kristen Brown, explained the need for the encroachers to be relocated.
The third concern, of course, is the natural resource that we are talking about here, the granite and the minerals we are mining, which all goes into development projects, infrastructure projects that are very important for the country to develop. You can't build any roads, any houses, any airports or harbors without these materials. And it is making all these development projects very expensive that in a situation where you have all the quarries closed in Accra, now all the materials have been shipped from far outside Accra to do any of these projects. And this is hampering the whole development of the nation.
The team also toured some sites at Budumburam in the central region where 2 persons were injured at the ESM quarry last Friday following a blast. Jacqueline Quay's reports for Joy News.
Now, cuts on fingers and waist pains are common among gari makers, especially in rural areas. These women use nails to make holes in metal sheets in order to make a grater that takes endless hours to mash a pan of cassava. There's now a solution, as the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology has been providing or producing energy-efficient mini cassava graters. On Tech Thursday today, Love FM's Kwesi Deborah has been speaking with the engineer behind this innovation, Deborah Pando of the Technology Consultancy Center of the university.
Regina Yevonu of Adumkrom in the Ashanti region has just returned from farm. She's peeling off the cassava she brought. Rusty but working, Abigail Latte graced the pieces. They are gari makers. This type of homemade grater they call grater from tin can has been used for decades. We use nails and wood to manufacture the grater, she says. Sometimes grating can lead to bruises and cuts on the fingers. We feel waist pains after every session. A study published in the Journal of Agroalimentary Processes and Technologies 2012 found corrosion stands as a major source of food contamination, and this is due to the migration of metallic particles. Deborah Pando of the Technology Consultancy Center of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology set out to find a solution. She started working on a mini cassava grater 5 years ago as part of her master's thesis.
So I worked on the tooth size and the teeth spacing, the angle at which the teeth has to be, and how to make a jig so that the teeth is formed and is very uniform, and to promote interchangeability of the teeth, and to help to get a better quality of mash when you grate the cassava for gari.
The mini cassava grater can process 200 kilograms cassava per hour. It is made of stainless steel, which makes it safe.
Since gari needs very little processing after it's made, so you have to make sure that what you make is good enough, it's clean, you do not use other things or unsafe materials for the pack. This motor that powers the whole machine is just 0.75 horsepower.
Back at Adumkrom, Regina and Abigail deployed a mini cassava grater for their work. They are happy the hard, strenuous days are over. Benjamin Ter Kwame is assembly member for the area. Now the women don't complain of difficulties. The mini cassava grater is helping people of over 30 rural communities. The project, which is in collaboration with the Olin College in the United States, focuses on affordable food processing machinery in deprived communities. Professor Samuel Saki is director of the Technology Consultancy Center.
The next stage of the collaboration is going to focus on how to scale up the production.
For Joy News, Kwesi Deborah, Love FM, Kumasi.
On that note, we take this brief break and make way for Emmanuel Abuajibiafi, who brings us business.